Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. Let me begin by saying that we have not received any formal notification of decision by Aetna, but based on conversations that I have had for a long time, conversations that began before I took office, continued in the early months of my term, and continue on a regular basis today. I do believe that Aetna has made the decision, and made the decision some time ago, that they will be relocating their corporate headquarters out of Connecticut. I want to stress that they have said very clearly to me, and I believe now to their employees, that they will maintain a substantial presence in the state of Connecticut and in the city of Hartford. That the Aetna campus in Hartford, a historic campus, will remain the place of employment for thousands of Aetna employees, that Aetna remains committed to its Connecticut workforce, and that they will remain engaged in the city of Hartford. But needless to say, to lose the flag, the headquarters flag of a company which has been a part of our city and our state for a century and a half, whose history is intertwined with our cities, is a hard blow for the state of Connecticut and for the city of Hartford. What we have to do as a state and as a city is look ourselves in the mirror and resolve to make the changes that need to be made. I think the decision that Aetna seems poised to make reinforces the argument that we've been making for the better part of a year, which is that if Connecticut wants to remain economically competitive, we have to be a place that has strong and vibrant cities, strong and vibrant metropolitan areas where companies can attract talent and retain talent. I've talked to employers large and small, those that have their headquarters here and those that don't. Each one of them will tell you that the most important consideration for them when they look at where to locate and where to grow is where they can attract and retain talent. And it is clear, if you look across the country at those places that are growing, the growth is happening in cities. It's happening in strong and vibrant cities, not just large cities like New York and Boston, but places that have worked in partnership with their state and with their region to build themselves into strong, fiscally sound, culturally vibrant metropolitan centers. We have the ability to do that here in Connecticut, but we need to do it now. We need to act boldly, we need to act quickly, and we need to recognize that there are big changes that need to be made. We're going to continue as a city to tackle our fiscal challenges head on and to build the city into a vibrant place, and we're going to continue to be the best partner we can possibly be to Aetna. We've built a strong partnership. I believe that their commitment alongside of Travelers in the Hartford of $10 million a year for the next 5 years demonstrates that they remain a part of this community, that they remain committed to Hartford's future. And we have to make sure that we as a state, as well as a city, are positioning ourselves to be the kind of place that companies like Aetna, large and small, want to invest and want to grow. I want to say again that Aetna has not decided to close up shop in Hartford. They have not said they're closing their campus. In fact, they've said that they are keeping that campus as a substantial center of employment. And regardless of whether those employers throughout our city are headquartered here or not, we have to make sure that we are a state and a community that is partnering with them and that is creating the kind of vibrant metropolitan centers where they can attract and retain talent. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
What kind of changes? You know, you're already changing
Yeah.
this time to wake up and make changes.
Yeah.
What?
Look, I've said for a long time, you've heard me say it many times over the course of the last year and a half, our cities and our suburbs and our small towns share an economic future. We are an integrated economic region, and we cannot be strong unless the urban center is strong. We cannot be economically competitive unless we have strong, vibrant cities. We're lucky to have a city that's got all of the raw materials and assets that we could ask for. You've got incredible cultural institutions. You've got strong arts institutions. You've got a physically beautiful city with beautiful parks. You've got tremendous history. You've got residential buildings that are filling up faster than anyone imagined. You've got Yukon coming in next door. You've got train service coming in a year from now, connecting us to New Haven and beyond that to New York. We have the raw material and the assets, but what we have right now is a fiscal structure that's been broken for decades. And if we're going to be able to position our capital city or any of our other cities in Connecticut to really be competitive and really be as vibrant as they can be, we have to address that long-standing fiscal structural problem. Because right now you've got a city that's competing with its hands tied behind its back when half its property is non-taxable, and you got less taxable property than suburbs nearby. So that's one of the structural problems.
What's being done to attract businesses to come to Hartford rather than to take their headquarters and walk away?
Well, look, I think it's all those things that I just talked about. It's making our city a vibrant and attractive place to be. As I said at the start, I think this decision that Aetna seems poised to make is a decision that they really made a long time ago. And over the last couple of years, I think you've begun to see real momentum in the city of Hartford, real energy, an influx of residents choosing to live in Hartford's downtown, more feet on the street, the coffee shops and bookstores coming in to support them and serve them, ballparks selling out, private investors bringing iconic Hartford buildings like the Goodwin back to life. There is momentum and there's energy. What we need to do is create the room and the space for that momentum to build. And that's why we've got to build a new partnership with the state so that we can tackle the fiscal challenges head on. But ultimately, I don't think this decision by Aetna is being made based on Hartford's fiscal challenges. I think it's being made because Connecticut is late to recognize how important strong and vibrant cities are to the economic development game.
And you mentioned that $10 million that pledge they made with the other companies. Does that still stand?
Absolutely.
Do you have any concerns?
I should say they have not said anything to make me think that that commitment is in doubt.
Do you have any concerns with the headquarters being moved, that they will be watching and be as participatory in the community here, that they might not make another kind of contribution like that?
Well, I hope that they remain committed and engaged to this city, and we'll do everything we can to partner as closely with them as possible. I'll point out that one of the other three companies that made a part of that $10 million per year commitment also doesn't have its headquarters here, but operates very much as part of our community and is deeply tied into the fabric of not just Hartford, but greater Hartford.
How will you do that? How will you keep their attention here if their headquarters moves out?
Well, first of all, as you may know, I think a number of their senior leaders have been living in New York for a while, and we've maintained that dialogue, and I have no problem traveling down to New York, and I suspect they'll still be spending time in Hartford too. But more importantly than that, they're going to continue to have thousands of employees in Connecticut, in Hartford, and in the Hartford region. And I think that company recognizes that those employees are a critical part of its future, and that the city in which those employees are going to continue to work is an important part of being able to attract and retain those employees that remain here.
Do you expect a significant amount of vacant property on this campus for one of the biggest tax payers here?
I'm going to defer to them, but I have not been told anything that makes me think that they're going to be shuttering buildings yet.
Other than the fact that the top executives are elsewhere, what precisely is it that tells you that they're going to move their headquarters? If they haven't told you, and they haven't told anyone else that we know of, and they said publicly we're in negotiations, is it just a hunch?
No, it's, as I said, when I say we have not received any formal notification, I think they're still going through their process. I don't want to speak for them, but I've had enough conversations to be confident that their intention is to move their headquarters.
With what level?
I'm sorry?
Enough conversations with people at what?
At the most senior levels.
When you were on the campaign trail in 2015, shortly after United Technologies talked about Luke Bronin, you mentioned in the debate to Pedro Segarra that there wasn't enough done, there
Yeah.
was a line of communication at City Hall, and not enough was being done to keep these companies here. So do you feel like that's changed, and what efforts
Absolutely. I think there has been an ongoing communication, an open line of communication that resulted in a financial commitment over multiple years, as well as other forms of engagement and commitment to important community institutions. You know, their support of the Youth Service Corps as one example. Maintained a very active, very open, and very honest dialogue with senior leaders at Aetna throughout my time, and I've talked with them repeatedly about this decision, about the options that they were considering, and about the fact that I believe that if they give it more time, that they are already in a city that is poised to be as attractive, as vibrant, as competitive as they should want.
Governor Malloy at his conference earlier today said that one of the biggest factors for a company moving their headquarters is usually whether the CEO likes where that headquarters is or not. So I guess it's a two-part question here. One, do you agree with that in this situation? And two, have you spoken with Hartford at all recently?
Let me, on the first part, you know, it's probably right. A decision-making process like that is probably different in many different companies, but that's probably right. I have had conversations directly with Mark Bertolini on a number of occasions. I have. I can't give you the date off the top of my head, but I believe it was within the month.
Have you generally seen a lot of it in Hartford in your administration? How do you characterize it? You've got a lot of events. Every time I know somebody, you're there. Somebody, whether it's a carousel or you know, a carousel. You ever see him?
As I said, I've met with him on a number of occasions.
By making an appointment, right?
Correct.
Did you ever run into him?
Nope.
What buildings would you like to see taxed? You say finding the one on your arm. Let people understand how you're finding the arm.
Sure. Look, you got the city of Hartford. Again, I don't want to make this. This is not. I don't think Aetna's decision is about how much property is taxable in the city of Hartford. So I don't want to make that. You know, you're getting into the question of the basic fiscal structural challenge that we have. Look, you got state property which pays no taxes. You've got.
Hold on a second, wait a minute. I want this answer. I'm sorry.
Careful, now you're hitting NBCs.
Oh my gosh. All right, so I think you want to know, I don't understand this.
Like you've got state property, a large concentration of state buildings in the city which pay no taxes. You've got hospitals which pay no taxes, universities and colleges which pay no taxes, the MDC sewage treatment plant which serves the region and pays no taxes, the trash to energy power plant which serves about 70 cities around the state and pays no taxes. You have the vast majority of social service agencies concentrated in the city of Hartford, serving residents of the entire region and state that pays no tax. They pay no taxes. Those are all valuable and vital functions, and we're proud to have them in Hartford, but they pay no taxes. And when you have a city that's 18 square miles with half of the property non-taxable, and the part that's taxable barely larger than Farmington or Glastonbury or Manchester, you have a structure that's not built to work. And if we as a state want to be competitive, we've got to build a structure that works.
So in terms of the big picture, though, do you have any concern that Aetna's departure might affect the legislature's willingness to appropriate more?
I would hope, look, I would hope the opposite. I think if they're paying attention and drawing the appropriate lesson from this impending decision, it's that we as a state have to invest in building strong, fiscally sound, culturally vibrant, attractive urban centers. The city of Hartford isn't just the capital city of the state. It's not just the symbolic capital city. It's the economic heart of central Connecticut, just as New Haven is the economic heart of the greater New Haven region. And if we as a state want to be competing with cities large and small across the country, we have to make sure that our cities are strong. And that's not about choosing cities at the expense of suburbs and small towns. It's about recognizing that we're intertwined. It's about recognizing that you cannot be a strong suburb of a weak city. You have to build a region that works. And the cities are at the heart of our regions in Connecticut.
You had said in your statement earlier that you felt they made this decision a long time ago. What is that timeline? What is a long time ago?
Well, I can only tell you, I began conversations shortly before I took office and after I took office, so I can only tell you in that time frame. But I would say, from the very first conversations that I had with senior leadership at Aetna at the beginning of my term, this was something that was clearly already on the table and was of great concern to me.
Mayor, you talked about the financial investment that Aetna has made in the city. Did that give you any sort of hope that they might keep their headquarters here?
It gave me hope that they understood how important Connecticut is to their company. And I hope they continue to recognize how important Connecticut is to their company, because they continue and will continue to have thousands of employees working out of a historic site here in Hartford. Anybody else? Dan?
What sense do you get from this process that the assistance Hartford needs will be forthcoming, regardless of what happens today?
So I didn't hear the last part of that.
From the letter that the governor released, he seems strongly committed to supporting the city of Hartford. Are you encouraged by that? Would you take further encouragement?
I think the governor's remarks, all the way back to his State of the City address this year, demonstrate a recognition that all of our cities, including and maybe especially our capital city, are critical to Connecticut's economic growth and competitiveness.
When you get a sense from talking with people that the decision has been made and had been made months ago to move the headquarters to some other city, what was your sense of the reason for that? Was it basically the CEO's preference? Was that what they did? Or were you thinking it was because of cost? Because of
I don't think it was a decision driven by cost.
okay, that's what you're not doing. What are you doing?
I'm not gonna ascribe motives or intentions or try to get into the head of the leaders at Aetna as to why they're making this decision. You'll have to talk with them about it. I do think, as I said earlier, I think that a number of senior leaders have already been working out of other cities. I think a number of their recent hires, going back a couple of years, have been in other cities. And as I said, I think a big part of positioning Connecticut to be competitive is making sure that we are a place where companies can easily attract and retain talent. If you listen to the interview that the GE executive gave a couple of weeks ago, or read the interview that the GE executive gave a few weeks ago, it was clear that the primary driver, their decision to move from Connecticut to Boston, was a desire to be in a vibrant city where they could more easily attract talent. And again, I said it in my statement, and I know others have repeated it today. We don't need to be a Boston to be competitive. We don't need to be a New York City to be competitive. We're not going to be a Boston or a New York. But we have tremendous advantages in Connecticut. We have advantages of geography. We have advantages of quality of life. We have a small city that has a tremendous concentration of cultural assets and history. You have a region that has beautiful suburbs and strong school systems. You have a region that's positioned very close to both New York and Boston, and that's actually at substantially lower cost to operate and to live than either of those cities. So we have the ability to compete, but we have to change the way we do business.
You have the ability to compete, but Aetna is still weak.
I'm saying we have the ability to be, let me rephrase, we have the ability to become competitive. We have the raw material that we need to be competitive. But we need to make some changes, and we need to be comfortable with making changes that in the past have made us uncomfortable.
On the subject of the legislature, as we're getting toward the end, with discussion of the age of Hartford come up, legislators are talking about increasingly about strays for that. Have you had a conversation with them about what municipal oversight is going to look like in Hartford?
Look, as you know, I proposed a bill last spring that would have established a sustainability commission, and I have said from the very beginning that I accept accountability because our books are open, and I'm confident in the decisions that we've made, and I believe that we are governing with discipline, and that we've made the tough decisions that most cities who were in our fiscal position in the past were not willing to make.
What kind of oversight are you welcome and what would you
Look, we'll have to see how the process plays out. But I don't mind anybody looking over my shoulder, and I don't mind having the books open. And I've said from the beginning that there may be some tools that could help us achieve the kind of structural changes that we need. All right? Thanks, everybody.